Accuracy. Accuracy in effective communication means grammatical and contextual correctness. If your communication is concise and it has achieved clarity, but it is incorrect grammatically, language wise, and then it means that you have not achieved your goal of effective communication. So if your writing is not, or your speech is not clear, then it will mislead your audience. You do not intend to say something, you have provided wrong information. So the impression conveyed would be that either you are too lazy, or you are too casual, or you are not professional. So it is important that before sending your communication, you have to proofread it very carefully and try to make it as correct as you can. So if you look at this image here, you will see here a major mistake has been done when the person writes the name of the street in the salutation. So he repeats this word Purdom and writes Mr. and Mrs. Purdom. So perhaps he did not read this address clearly and understood it and made this careless mistake. Now in this one also you will see that there are a number of mistakes which are made here, which are related to spellings. For example, in the insider's address, it is written Adler's dog and oat shop, whereas it should have been cat, and so on. There are other mistakes which merely point that the person has not been careful enough. He has not proofread his communication before sending it across. So there are ways of achieving accuracy in your writing. So if you look at these guidelines, the first one is let someone else read it. So when you have composed your piece of communication, let somebody else read it for you, because we ourselves sometimes cannot discern our own mistakes. Other people can. Then use the gestation approach. Let your communication sit for a while. Don't read it over again. Let it sit for a while, 2-3 hours or overnight. And when you read it afresh, then perhaps you will be able to identify your mistakes yourself. Then read backwards. Instead of reading from top to bottom, you can read backwards, and that way you will be able to identify your errors. Read one line at a time or print it out. Okay, when you read one at a time, don't read it as a whole. When you read it one at a time, or you print it out and then read it, then some of the mistakes will surface. Use a dictionary to find out the correct words of spellings and so on. And then read long words syllable by syllable. This will help you to find out if there are any spelling mistakes. Then use technology. There are various ways in which you can spell check your work. Check figures, scientific and technical abbreviations before you send your communication across. Read aloud. A very good technique. When you read aloud, then you come to find your errors. And try scattershot proof reading, which means that you just go over it, scan your document and try to find the errors. So if the writing is not accurate, if it has lots of mistakes, it's going to create a lot of problems for yourself and your company, and a very negative image is going to be conveyed of yourself and your company. So they will think about you and your company as being non-professional, people who are careless and casual about their contracts, and perhaps they would be have the same attitude when dealing with their clients and customers. And then that they are not professional enough, because professional people never make such mistakes, inaccurate and convey inaccurate information. And then perhaps that they are too lazy and casual. So that is also a very negative thing for somebody to think about. And the most important thing, that it could be disastrous for you and your company. You might lose your job because of some such mistake, or perhaps your company loses a very important client or customer.